Good evening. Welcome to the August 13th, 2020 school committee meeting. I call this meeting to order. We'll start off by confirming attendance. When I call your names, please say present. Becky Stanton, she just logged off. She's having some trouble. She'll probably log back in. Julie Gastucci.
Present.
Tony Tinarella.
Present.
Mike Moran is not with us tonight. Jeff Bowe. Jeff?
Present.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Ken now. Yep. Rob Mullen.
Present.
District Personnel, Dr. Flanagan.
Present.
Dr. Branco.
Present.
Mr. Messina.
Present.
Thank you. This opening of the Tyngsborough School Committee is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. For this meeting, the school committee is convening by Zoom as posted on the town's website, which identifies how the public may join. For Zoom meetings, please note that this meeting is being recorded and possibly aired live, that some attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that people may be able to see you, and that take care not to share your computer, screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. All supporting materials have been provided All supporting materials that have been provided members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless I note otherwise. Finally, each vote taken at this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. I'd also like to welcome our student rep, Natalie Barros. Hi, Natalie.
Hello.
Agenda item 2, visitors, comments, and questions. Do we have any visitors? Seeing none. Whitson's Food Services. Mr. Messina?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As you know, every year we ask the food service people to come in to usually go over the previous year's operations as well as give us an idea as to what they're looking at for operations come the fall. Certainly an unusual time that doing a normal course of action I don't think really is prudent with Whitson's. But the committee is charged every year with renewing the contract. DESE sets up food service contracts with a one-year contract with 4 one-year options. Tonight, we're going to be asking the committee to renew option year 2 of the 4 years on the existing contract. On the call tonight, we have Scott Berry, who is our district manager with Whitson's, as well as Tracy Demers, who is our food service director locally here in town. I'll certainly kick it over to Scott, who wants to just do a brief overview of some of the things they're looking at, and maybe have the committee, if they have any questions prior to the vote on the amendment, to ask Scott and Tracy, with the understanding that, like so many other things, the opening of school in terms of lunches, there's still a lot of issues that we have to address in terms of how we're serving, including students on site as well as free and reduced that might be working remote on a given day. So lots of questions still to discuss with them, but Scott, I'll certainly kick it over to you if you want to say some things.
Thank you, Joe, and thank you to the committee for inviting us tonight. What I did is, even though it was a very challenging year and ended abruptly, obviously, due to the pandemic, I just wanted to recap some statistics, and this is based on year-to-date results through February, the end of February this year. So in terms of some quick statistics, as of February year-to-date, we had three less operating days this year versus prior year. However, our meals exceeded last year's by about 3,000 meals. In terms of revenue, again, with 3 less operating days this year, our revenue exceeded last year's revenue by about $24,000. And then lastly, in terms of the district return, as of February year to date, this year's return was slightly over 48,000, which was, it exceeded last year's return by about 34. And given the fact that, one of the factors for this year was obviously the challenges with labor. So we ran most of the year extremely short staffed, which Tracy can attest to. But it was ironically, we actually were able to increase meals, increase revenue, which was pretty amazing, and mostly due to Tracy and her team. What we're looking for next year in terms of the contract renewal, the terms would remain the same. And as we do every year, there's a CPI increase that's included, but the return would be the break even or proposed break even as it was this year. With that, I just would like to turn it over to Tracy quickly just to talk about a little bit more about the challenges that she was facing on a day-to-day.
Thank you, Scott. We had challenges with staffing from the first day of school. We started short-staffed. We were down 2 leads. We usually work with 13 team, and we had 8 or less staff all year. I'd like to give kudos to my existing team. I want to say thank you for their dedication and flexibility, from stepping up to a lead position to switching schools in their hours, helping each other every step of the way. They're amazing. And if they saw one of the coworkers was down, they were the morale. Someone would bring someone a coffee or would bring in muffins, and just everyone did everything they needed to do to step up to the plate and make sure the kids got taken care of. Recruiting this year, due to COVID-19, all businesses are looking for applicants, and we suspect it will be more difficult than last year. As for plans for reopening, we would start prepackaged grab-and-go meals as recommended by the CDC. We would also start with limited choices. In school, we would have the students go through the line at a proper distance, maybe putting stickers on the floor or whatnot, grab their meal of choice in the cafeteria with all their components, potentially looking to go cashless and use scanners at the POS. Students have a barcode on an ID card as to reduce the use of the PIN pads at the registers. For remote meals, one scenario would to be worked out with the district if the parents could fill out a one-time opt-in or opt-out if they wanted lunches delivered for the 3 days of the remote. Possibly, if that's an option, empower school, and that would help reduce waste also if we knew how many kids. And then parents, we could set it up so due to their schedule on possibly Monday, that parent can come in for their students who are remote Monday through Wednesday, and then Wednesday, the parents whose kids are remote Wednesday through Friday could come pick up their meals at, a designated school with their day and time to be determined with the schedules for lunches and that. And if we're to have food delivered to classes, we would need to order equipment, hot holding equipment, coolers. So that would be a lot more to figure out, like you said, depending on schedules, how many lunches there'll be each day in the classrooms, or,
If I could just add to that briefly. So one of the things I just want to make everyone aware of is in dealing with the multiple districts, everybody right now seems to have a different scenario. Plans really aren't finalized even as of today. But, our plan is to obviously partner with the district. We're going to be flexible and adaptable. So day one, what doesn't work, obviously we need to make modifications and changes to. We, meaning Whitson's, we have our own task force that's developed a Whitson's reopening plan. So that includes this operational checklist for us, including, making sure team members are trained, they have the proper education and knowledge in terms of what we're doing. We're looking at different meal options, and again, it's based on logistics and district decision in terms of what model the district is leaning to. So I think the key is the knowing the unknown, so to speak, is that we're prepared to be flexible and adapt to whatever level of service and whatever service model the district is leaning toward.
So if I could just jump in here, Scott, you guys have always been great. Tracy, you've been phenomenal. As you talk about various hybrid plans from district to district, even though we have a Tyngsborough hybrid plan, I think the lunch service is going to look very different from school to school. I think we can get a socially distanced or physically distanced cafeteria at the high school, and I don't think that's possible at the elementary school. So right now, our principals are tasked with figuring out what the number is going to be, what the process is going to look like, and is it going to be delivered to classrooms at the elementary? Is it going to be grab and go at the high school? So all those details are kind of being finessed right now and worked out right now. So I know that you folks will be very flexible, and we really appreciate that. Much like you're seeing different hybrid plans across the state, it's going to look very different depending on what we can possibly do in that school. So we appreciate your flexibility, and once we know and nail it down, we'll certainly relay that information to you.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Scott or Tracy? Okay. Thank you, guys. So I will seek a motion to exercise the second of 4 amendments to award a 1-year contract extension to Whitson's Food Service for the 2020-2021 school year.
Mr. Chair, this is Rob Mullen. I would like to make that motion, please.
Thank you, Rob.
I will second that.
Seconded by Tony. Thank you. This will be a roll call vote. Rob Mullen,
In favor?
Jeff Bowe,
Favor?
Tony Tinarella,
In favor.
Julie Gastucci,
In favor.
Becky Stanton.
In favor.
I'm also in favor, so it carries 6-0-0. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
That is all we have for this evening. So at this point, I will seek a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mrs. Stanton.
I will second it.
Was that Tony?
Yes.
Thank you, Tony. Once again, we'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Mullen,
In favor?
Mr. Bowe,
Favor?
Mr. Tinarella,
In favor.
Ms. Gastucci,
In favor.
Ms. Stanton.
In favor.
I'm also in favor, so that carries 6-0-0. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.